What's up guys, my name is Ace, and with the excitement for Black Ops 4 building since it's launching next week, I've really been thinking a lot about it, obviously, and one thing I've been thinking about is what kind of features, specifically non-gameplay features, are we going to have at launch for Black Ops 4? So today I wanted to compile my list of 10 features that I really hope we see at launch with this game. Many of these features are things that I 100% expect to see at launch, but for some of them, these are features that are either kind of hit or miss, where we see it some years, but we don't see it other years with Call of Duty, or they're features that are typically added several months after launch. So without further ado, let's hop right into the list. First up, a combat record, and a solid combat record, not a really basic one like some Call of Duty games have. And normally Treyarch does do very well in the combat record department, but what I would love to see is the gold standard of combat records, and that is a Black Ops 1 style combat record. Out of the entire franchise of Call of Duty, I still feel Black Ops 1 had by far the best combat record out there, and I'd really love to see them at the very least match Black Ops 1's combat record with Black Ops 4. If they could even take it to the next level, that'd be great. Essentially, the more stats they can share with us, the better. Now, of course, this is one of the features where I definitely expect to see a combat record at launch. It's just how good will it be at launch? Knowing Treyarch, probably pretty solid, but we'll just have to wait and find out. Next up on my list is something that Treyarch actually hasn't done before, but Sledgehammer has done in both of their games. This is a firing range. I would love to see a firing range system in Black Ops 4, as long as it doesn't add to the loading times, because that was really frustrating back in Advanced Warfare. But I really like the idea of having that firing range available, so if I want to test out an attachment on a gun or something, I don't have to either hop in a public match and just see how it ends up playing out, or I don't have to load up a whole custom game just to go test out an attachment. I love having the ability to just hit one button and boom, I'm in that firing range. I can test it out on some targets and see how it feels. Now, this is a feature that I don't necessarily expect to be there at launch or even at all throughout this game's lifecycle, because like I said, it's something Treyarch has never done before and only Sledgehammer has done within the Call of Duty franchise. But if they did happen to add a firing range into this game, that'd be a very pleasant surprise for me. Getting into the third feature on my list, this is lobby leaderboards. More specifically, lobby leaderboards that are sorted by game mode specific score per minute. This is something that Treyarch normally does, and I really hope they follow suit with Black Ops 4. And I really like this feature for checking out a lobby, seeing where I rank in that lobby, at least when it comes to score per minute, which I think is a very important stat. We'll talk about that in a second though. But I really like being able to see that lobby and getting a general indication for what's coming in the next match. I strongly feel game mode specific score per minute. It has to be game mode specific because every game mode would be different. But game mode specific score per minute will give you the best indication of how much of a fight an enemy player is going to put up. Kill death ratio can be too easily skewed by people just camping and not playing the objectives, so they might not be putting up much of a fight even if they have a really high KD. And win-loss ratio is skewed really heavily by, first off, the game modes that you play, second, how often you play with parties. And therefore, game mode specific score per minute, I feel, is the hardest stat to artificially skew. And this means it gives you the best indication of just how much of a fight an enemy player will tend to put up. Moving on to the next thing on the list, this is something that seems like a no-brainer, but it's something we didn't see throughout the entire life cycle of COD World War II, a career medals page. So an area where you can look at all the medals you've earned in-game throughout the entire life cycle of the game. I still can't believe COD World War II didn't have this implemented at all. You could see your medals after a game, but you couldn't see how many you've gotten throughout the lifetime of that game. Again, this is something that I fully expect to see from Treyarch. I don't think they're going to let us down in this area, but it is something that's definitely high up there on my list. Next up, I would love to see the return of Dark Ops challenges, or at least that style of challenge. If you guys remember from Black Ops 3, we had Dark Ops challenges, Infinite Warfare had Special Ops challenges, and these were the type of challenges that were kind of one in a million. They were the types of things where you might not complete them throughout an entire life cycle of a game, or sometimes the stars will align and you just happen to complete them. And just as an example of one of these, it was to get a kill on somebody that was underwater and nearly drowning while you were also underwater and nearly drowning. So both of you had to be underwater for a certain period of time, and then you had to kill that enemy player. This is a very situation-specific thing for many people throughout the entire life cycle of Black Ops 3. Even if they played every single day, they wouldn't have completed that challenge. But if you really worked hard at it, or if the stars just aligned and you got lucky, you could complete this challenge. I really liked going for those every now and then, and I feel it added that extra layer of long-term replayability to the game. And I think a big part of this is you earn a calling card that's quite rare in a lot of cases with those Dark Ops challenges that you could kind of wear as a badge of honor. Everybody could see like, wow, he completed that crazy challenge that's really strange and out there. Or for a lot of people, they're like, how did you get that? I've never seen that calling card, because they kept them hidden and they were held back as sort of secret challenges. So as a result, I really hope we see the Dark Ops style challenges return. Moving on to the next thing on my list, this is something that is already essentially confirmed to be in the game, but I still wanted to mention it here because I feel it's an important feature within at least Treyarch Call of Duty games. This is theater mode. If you guys played the Blackout beta, within that beta build of the game, there was a menu option for theater, but it was locked, so you couldn't actually access any sort of a theater mode. But this was essentially confirmation that we will be seeing theater mode at launch, at least for Blackout, but I would also guess we'll be seeing it for multiplayer if we're going to be seeing it for Blackout. So even though it's more or less confirmed at this point anyways, I still wanted to put it on this list just because it is such an important feature to me. Next up, we have a feature that's kind of been a staple to the Call of Duty franchise for, I think, 4 or 5 years now at least, but last year Sledgehammer didn't add it until a couple months down the road, or several months down the road. This is an emblem editor, the ability to make your own custom emblems. This is something I definitely expect to see at launch from Treyarch, and I'm actually hoping to see some improvements with this as well. It would be nice to have the ability to have more layers, or just in general more options to become more artistic with it, more shapes available, more ability to do custom shapes and custom colors and gradients and all that kind of stuff. I'm not an expert with the Emblem Editor by any means, but I've seen a lot of what the community can do, and I think it's really awesome, and I really hope it's going to be there for launch, and I'd love to see some additions and improvements. This brings us to number 8 on my list, and this is something we've only ever seen in one Call of Duty game, but it was the most recent Treyarch Call of Duty game, so I have hopes that it will make it into Black Ops 4. This is a group system. Now with this system, when you go into your social tab, you can create a group and people can join that group without being on your friends list. From that group, they can see you online and they can join your game as if they were on your friends list, but of course you had the opportunity to close your lobby if you didn't want people from your group joining. As a YouTuber and a streamer, this is an excellent way to interact with my viewers. I really enjoyed this system in Black Ops 3. It wasn't there at launch in Black Ops 3, but it was added several months down the road. I think it was like 4 or 5 months after launch. And I used this feature a ton when I was live streaming. It made playing with viewers so easy and seamless. I didn't have to go through a whole system of them sending me a message on PSN. Then I have to create a party chat, invite them to the party chat, and then from that, once they join that, then they can join my session in game. Especially during a live stream, that was just a big mess of waiting in lobbies more than I'm actually playing the game, it seems like, just so I could play with viewers, which I love doing. In Black Ops 3, I had my group, I had a bunch of people that joined into that group, and anytime they wanted to play, they didn't have to be on my friends list. All I had to do was open up my party and say, hop in, feel free to join. My lobby would fill up nearly instantly, then I close the lobby and we hop into a game. It's as simple as that, and it was so nice as a streamer. Honestly, I don't know if we will see this one return. This isn't one of the ones that I'm super confident will return, but I am going to be crossing my fingers for this one. Now we're almost at the end of the list here. For number 9 on my list, I have a variety of daily and weekly challenges to choose from. Black Ops 3 later in its life cycle introduced those daily challenges where it would just give you a daily challenge. You had no choice in the matter. It was just, this is your daily challenge, this is your weekly challenge. And while that was a nice addition at the time, I feel like COD World War II really took this to the next level, and I really like how they had it, so I would like to see a system similar to World War II for this. With this system, they gave us the option of 6 daily challenges every single day, and you could pick and choose which challenges you wanted to complete in which order. I really like the idea of actually activating the daily order that you want to complete. I also like the fact that there are several to work towards, not just one order where it's like get 10 headshots and then you just play 2 games normally and it's done. I like having those challenges where you activate them and you might have to actually change up your playstyle or your classes a little bit in order to complete them. This keeps individual play sessions a lot more engaging, and I really enjoyed that system in World War II, and it's something I really hope Treyarch will learn from and implement into their game. Now, I know Blackout is going to have a quest-type system, or Vonderhaar says they're not actually called quests, but they are kind of like quests. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out, but for regular multiplayer at least, I would love to have the option of having several different daily challenges. One quick note on that though, those daily challenges better not be something like complete 35 multiplayer matches, because if that's the case, I'll be a little bit upset about that. So finally, the last thing I have on my list here, it's kind of a collection of features that I hope Black Ops 4 will have at launch, is going to be a nice variety of endgame challenges to work towards. Now, by endgame challenges, I'm talking about a chrome or dark matter or black sky type of a camo for the weapons. So by completing all of the camo challenges for all the weapons, I really hope we see an amazing looking final camo for that, which I do fully expect we will be seeing at this point. It has kind of become a staple of Call of Duty, and it's something a lot of people love to grind for every year. Also, the equivalent of hero challenges for the specialist characters. This is something I really enjoyed working towards in Black Ops 3 as well. On top of working on weapon challenges, it also encouraged me to use a wide variety of specialists. Now, I know in Black Ops 4 you can only choose one specialist per team unless you're playing one of the Chaos modes, but even then, I still think this is doable. It just might take a little bit longer, and there might be some frustration where somebody takes the specialist that you're trying to work on. But at the end of the day, if we're talking long term, you'd still be able to get those challenges done. You just might have to work on like 2 of the different specialist characters at once. So if you don't get your first pick, then you can move on to your second pick. And finally, within this area, I really hope we have solid Master Prestige rewards in the game from launch. I really hope Master Prestige rewards are going to be there at launch, and they're not going to be some sort of an afterthought that they implement 7 or 8 months down the road. I would love to have that long-term carrot on the stick that I'm chasing as I'm grinding through the ranks and grinding through prestiges. I think hitting Master Prestige should be something that's truly exciting and really gives you a solid reward and feeling of accomplishment. This is something that really contributes to that long-term player engagement, and I really hope they have it in the game at launch. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for 10 non-gameplay features that I would love to see in the game at launch for Black Ops 4. Of course, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what are the most important features for you to see in this game? Are they features that I've already mentioned on this list, or is there something that you would add to this list? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.